Alright, boys and girls, beating you here with the PvE turret build. Disclaimer, just to start, I am not the PvE guy. Like, I try to make that apparent in all the other videos I post where it's all about the PvP stuff and, you know, this, that, and the other. Like, PvE in this game for me is something I do because I have to do it. A lot of it is fun, but like it's not a passion of mine. I'm not going for world first. I'm not trying to be #1 hunter, hitting dummies or hitting bosses, stuff like that. It's really not my thing. But there doesn't seem to be a lot of good information out there. If you go to the Terrasland Discord and look at the Ranger section, there's always some helpful people in there talking, whether it be Guy, or Squirt or Energy. There's a bunch of people that I didn't mention or I forget the names of, and they spend so much time min-maxing all this stuff. So like, if you have any deep dive questions, like those are the people I would try to harass. But hopefully, watching this will kind of get you a starting point, or maybe you'll learn like one or two things you didn't know. Just take it with a grain of salt. Everyone's gear is different. Everyone's emblems are different. So all these builds are going to be slightly different based on what their stats are, what their emblems are, things like that. So jumping right into it, we're just going to our talent tree. We put 3 points into Steady Burst. You can read it. 2 steady shots in a row increases your crit rate and crit damage by 3%. Really good. Rapid shot dealing 30% more damage. Really good. Steady shot, more damage. Sniper shot, more damage after... steady shot doing more damage after you use a sniper shot. So between these two, you get over 100% damage on your steady shot, which is pretty dope. This is going to be your biggest one right here, your base crit rate. Based on what your gear is, like you can see I'm at 48.9%. So I keep this full. Technically, what I should do is drop a point out of this, and then I'd be at 47.9%. And then for raids and stuff like that, I use crit potions and all the food. So that would put me above 50% crit. So technically, I have an extra skill point here myself that I could put elsewhere. Corrosion arrow giving you max stability, and you can keep it for 4 seconds. Super good. Bread and butter as you learn the dungeons, when there's phases of a boss or different parts of the dungeon where you have to move around, this is when you want to use that. The cooldown kind of gets low enough, it's really not the cooldown gets low enough, it's really the mobs get strong enough at certain points where you can just pop it on every set of mobs. Dependent on the dungeon and stuff like that. Rapid shot making things take more damage. That's really good in my opinion. Explosive arrow, steady shot, rapid shot, and scatter shot. When you hit with those, your next sniper shot can carry an explosive, which deals more damage. It's an AoE as well, so against packs of mobs, it's really good. Even if it's a single target, it still is an explosive perk, so you still get the damage from it. Always good. 15% more base damage and crit damage. That's really good. The big thing on here we don't go, which we go on all the PvP stuff, is this one. Obviously, it only works when the boss is below 25% HP, so I don't think it's worth putting in 3 points here. As more points become available through you dropping this and stuff like that, yeah, maybe you can put some stuff in there. But I think, if your gear doesn't get you over 50% crit by itself, it's probably not the best thing to go. This one, however, I do like. Increased crit rate and crit damage against targets with more than 70% HP. It only takes 2 points versus this being 3. And you just get more damage on your sniper shot, proportionally speaking. So I like it. Stability lens, I think, is a must-take, especially as you learn the dungeons. You'll learn your positioning, you'll learn what you can and can't do, and then this becomes just a really, really good boom in damage. Hunter's Heart I like just because it takes 20 seconds off, increases its effects by 2 seconds, and then this, I can see people taking away from this. I still think it's good, but basically after you pop Hunter's Heart, everything you use After that, during the duration of Hunter's Heart, will be reduced by 15%. So I like it, but again, if you don't like it, then don't run it. But I think that's something you want to use. Ultimates are dependent upon the dungeon. Like it really can be whatever you want. If you need to interrupt the boss, you need this skill, the firing disruption. If the boss has a root, like for example the Arc Druid that just dropped, it just has a random root that it'll hit you with. The healers have an AoE, cleanse or whatever, but sometimes it's just nice to have your own cleanse. If there's no root, then I'll just use refreshment. I think I take leap in all of them. It just gets you out of jail free very often, honestly. Especially when you do make a mistake in positioning, it gives you a big reposition, and you don't have to lose stability to do it, right? So if I just hit this, building up stability, okay, I'm at this stability, right? I need to move. I can pop that, and my stability stays high. Versus if I had moved that whole way, I'm actually going to be at 0 stability. So Leap just allows you to manage your stability better while repositioning. If you're in trouble, it can get you out of trouble for free really well. So those are the ultimates I take. But it's really dependent on the dungeon. I know some people run the hunting trap because it's a big AoE knockout, slow. So I know hunting trap some people run, and more power to them. Okay, next we'll go into emblems. Emblems, I mean Inscribed Stone, and then the emblems and all that stuff. It's really, if there's one portion of the game that you could argue is pay to win, it's probably this one. But it's really more of just a gotcha game, right? Like some of these have ridiculous rare perks that can happen, and it makes it infinitely better. Like Intertwined Fates is the biggest one. It has a thing where like it increases by 50% even when the other one is at 50% increase, and this, that, and the other. So emblems, I would try to use the ones that you get that are innately good, the ones that have increasing, like let's see, is it this one? I think I might have removed it, but the ones that increase the upper left node, upper right node, blah 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 by 50%, I would try to get your best setup while having that as well, because that gives you a really big boon in your stats. But you want to prioritize specialization and then cooldown. Those are your top two that you're looking for. Just because of the skill breakthroughs we get, crit. Kind of resets once you hit a certain breakthrough, it resets your sniper shot on an instant cast kind of deal. And then when you get enough cooldown, your sniper shot can reset the cooldown of your rapid shot. So these are big boons for us, right? Huge burst damages. It's actually really, it's just so good. And when we get into it, our skill rotation is totally dependent upon what is happening. With our resets. This is why Omni's trash, right? Like, why the hell, who cares? The damage is increased by 3.5% of a trash skill. Like, we do not care about that. Going next. Oh, right, we're still doing the Inscribed Stones. So, we know what we're going through. The next thing we're going to do is look at our emblems. I used to be a big believer in Sprawl and Strive and stuff like that. I think that was only good because our base stats were really low. Like when we first hit 40, we didn't have a lot of stats. So now we're really focusing on things that increase like our base stats and damage. So I'm running Overload, High Energy Potion, Shatter. Don't let the losers and that don't know anything in the Discord and shit like that tell you that Shatter's bad. Hunters can combo. It's not just a tamer thing. Like, it's really important. We don't have any. I think we have 5% base combo, but don't quote me on that. So we don't have another way to get combo. So having something that allows us to get combo, and it builds up stacks. So eventually you'll hit it no matter what. You'll get the combo damage is really good. Intertwined Fates, really good. Again, this is the one that has the broken, the broken rare thing where it increases it by 50% even when it's not in the first 15 seconds and stuff like that. Like they both go up 50% or something stupid. This is the one that they told me to run. Just the crit rate increasing. Just because it eventually kind of guarantees you that crit and that reset kind of deal. So it does help us reset pretty often. At least it appears to be for me. This is one that they told me to run. I was like, why would we run this when we already have such high crit rate and stuff like that? And then all the guys were like, no, you need to run this. It's really good. And ever since I've been running it, my DPS has gone up. So I believe them and I run it. Don't ask me exactly why it's so good, other than, you know, it's kind of guaranteeing your crits. So now that we've done all of that, but again, I guess before I get off this, like, this is so dependent based on what you hit. Like, you need these upper left, upper central, upper left. You need these perks. The only way, like, you wouldn't run a node getting higher stats is, example for this, the rare one on this one. You know, like some of these have rare stats, or excuse me, rare additional effects that are just so hard to get and invaluable that I like, this could be full stam, and if it rolled that, I would run it. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. But try to run the ones as best as you can. I personally have been prioritizing this node up here, this core. I mean, this one can be good too, I think. But I don't know. I don't really experiment too much with it. I was doing stuff with this, and then I just noticed this overall seemed to get me better DPS. So, you know, experiment with it yourself, whatever. Figure it out. But I do know it's the first and third you want to look at. This one does not seem to be very good, at least at the moment. If you're talking about DPS rotation, so what we do, like, don't forget we're running this perk, right? So you always want to start off with 2 steady shots. So most of the time I steady shot to get my perk up, and then I 6, and then I 4, and then 3 into this. Oh, and I got an instant, so now I'm just going to cycle 1 and 2 over and over, and then I'll do a random scatter shot. Let's do this again. Hit it twice so I get that perk up again, which you can see over here. And then we go into the rapid, into the snipe. And again, like, the more it resets, the more you're going to just press this button. I'm trying to get a couple more. We'll just hit this for a little bit. Again, I really don't focus on scatter that much. I'm really just throwing it in there as when there's 2 mobs or more, then I'll 100% use it. But if there aren't 2 mobs there, then I'm not really stressing it too much. I'm really just, you know, going through the standard rotation of double 1 for the perk, right? Keeping that uptime up. Anytime I get a instant recast, I just immediately press it. Like that. You see how that just resets? So now we can press it again. And then Hunter's Heart's up. We hit this. Double 1. Unlucky, I didn't get another reset. But you kind of just go through it, like just spamming 1, stuff like that. I'm going to let that hit 2 so I can hit this again, keep the buff up. And this is pretty much just going to be your standard rotation. And then when there's a phase where you got to move, you can just corrosion arrow, move around, reposition. Now that we have our Inscribed up, we'll go through the Inscribed stone rotation. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to rapid, I'm going to press 7, I'm going to sniper again actually, and then press 1 twice so I get that reset there, and now I get a bunch of these resets. Oh, that felt really good actually. That was pumping. So that's pretty much your rotation. Again, it's not like a clear-cut thing once you have stats because you get resets, and based on what resets is what you're going to press. Like, you know, I'm not going to press scatter shot when my sniper shot is constantly resetting. I'm just going to spam sniper shot. There is something you need to look at where 15 stacks of this will trigger the echo, which will give you a big damage boost. So there is a world where you should hold some of this until the echo goes. The echo, let's see if I can get this real quick. The echo basically is going to be a moon over your head, just so people don't always know what it looks like. I'm just pressing random buttons now, by the way. Don't look at this DPS rotation. I'm just pressing buttons. But yeah, so what it looks like, oh my god, but please give me my 15 stacks. Boom. That was pretty good. Almost there. We're at 13. Okay, almost there. Okay, you see this crescent moon over my head? That means my echo's active. So there's a world where when your echo's active is when you want to pump all your damage. And you can kind of plan it out a little bit. But yeah, just something to consider. Like if you see that's at 14 stacks, you might want to hold your burst literally for that extra second or two so you get the full damage boost. That's like really more deep diving it. So again, ask the actual heroes of PvE like how to do that most effectively. Like I said, it's just something that you should know and consider. That crescent moon over your head means you're about to pump some serious damage. So we did Inscribed Stones, we did the skill rotation, we did Inscribed Stone rotation. So let me leave this zone real quick so we can look at gear stuff. Oh my god, my load screen. All right, let's go here. I feel like the easiest way to look at gear stuff is through here, right? Because basically what you can do is you can go to this item, you can click it, and you get 2 random attributes. You click on the 2 random attributes, and then it has everything you can get. So, based on what you can get is what you want to roll. So you don't, like for this piece right here, we want dexterity and hit. Not all pieces can roll hit. So the pieces that can roll hit is kind of what we want. Like stamina, trash, focus, like we get that through all the other pieces. So on this one we want hit and dexterity. And then on this one, oh my god, bro, if I could, I'm panicking here. Okay, and then on this one, dexterity and hit. Armor, we want crit and cooldown. It's really important that we stack crit and cooldown. So any piece that you can get crit on or cooldown on, you want. You want to get that as your main stat. So as you see, I have dexterity on here, which is, not bad, but I would much rather have cooldown on it. Because again, we are always trying to push our breakthroughs, which are this one right here, 50% being the max. And then on this, 26%. Most people are at 19% right now. I messed with my gear a bunch, so now I actually dropped from, I think I was at 17%. To now I'm at 13% because of some unlucky rolls, but that's okay. But these are the breakthroughs you want to push. So like when you're looking at gear and asking what you should get, just use your common sense knowledge of what you need on your gear and then look for it. Like, all right, we want crit and dexterity here. Like focus would be all right, but probably don't need it. This one we want crit and cooldown. Which I'm fortunate enough to have, actually. So that's pretty much that. So to do that, just make sure you're running your Arcane Realms. The bow is way more expensive than anything else, so you almost always, for the time being, want to run floor 5. Try and get the bow off of the dungeon, so you don't have to spend 2 times the amount of these emblems, tokens, whatever you want to call them. When you can be rolling this you could roll 2 pieces before you roll one of those. So that's how you want to do your gear. And your gears, like I said, there's a min max to it for sure, but at the end of the day, you're going to get what you're going to get, and then you're going to have to play around with it. As far as special aptitudes and stuff like that, good fucking luck. There's not been a lot of testing about it, just because everyone's, it's a random drop, like it's kind of hard to plan out what you want to get. Arrow corrosion is F tier. Like you definitely don't want arrow of corrosion, but sniper shot, rapid shot, both are really good. I think as we get more gear and like more inscribed stone stuff, I think that the one that buffs your stability shot could be really good. Because it's kind of buffing your echo, and like I said, when your blah 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 echoes up, you're gonna pump some damage. So I think that there's a world where that might end up being the best one, or at least one you want to stack a couple of pieces of. like I said, like you don't even need to look at my stats. There's a million other people with better stats than me because I'm just not. I'm not chasing it, not min maxing it like I should be. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much your gear. Like this is the steady shot one. Just a chance to increase your echo recharge by 1. I think that might be super freaking good, man. Honestly, especially if you have like 2 or 3 pieces of it, you'll have more uptime of your echo, and you'll just be pumping more damage. So I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure if anyone's actually really sure yet. To be fair, I do know arrow corrosion is trash. So if you have arrow corrosion, like re-roll that immediately. It can be anything else, like truly anything else, and it'll be better. Um, but yeah, I think that about does it. We'll do one more rotation, maybe, just to go over it real quick. Like I said, the rotation's more about concepts than actual rotations, just because of the resets. But you always want to start off with 1-1. Oh my god, my skills reset when I got in here. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Hunting. Okay. So go here. So yeah, you always want to start off with 1-1 for this buff here. Then you go into 6. Then you go into 4. And then after this, you're really just freestyling it. Like every time it resets, you know, you're going to do something different. The scatter shot matters the least. You really only press it when you have to press it. Obviously, that just resets. So we go into this, into that. That reset again. So we press this, go into it again. Corrosion, if you can pop at the same time as rapid, that's great. But, you know, also not the biggest deal. If you can't pop it, that resets. So this is close to going. So we pop this. Then that reset again. So now we pop it again. And then hit it again. So, like I said, there's no real rotation anymore now that we have all this gear. It's just, you know, kind of pressing buttons as they reset. Yeah, you know, like if rapid shot is about to be up on your reset of sniper shot, then you want to hold that half second. Let this sit for half a second to cast your rapid shot first, just because it's buffing your other skills. So like I said, it's all conceptual. Don't worry too much about it. At the end of the day, like just make sure you're hitting Hunter's Heart often and you're 3-2-1-ing. That's pretty much going to set you up for a lot of success. Again, emblems, like don't stress it too hard. Like if you get shitty rolls, it is what it is. You know, if you have a sprawl or a strive, do they suck? Absolutely. But a good sprawl and strive might be better than a really bad high energy potion or a really bad intertwined fates. So you know, like don't worry too much about it. If you get bad rolls, it's just, you know, it's kind of the way the game is. I guess the only other thing we can really go over is like empowers. I don't know too much about this, just because we don't have a lot of this available to us. So I'm not sure which one of these is going to be best. But definitely try and at least get your blue ones done. If you get your blue ones done, that's a pretty big DPS increase. Yeah, and then as far as your inlays, it's kind of common sense. You always want to put dexterity in. Get your hit from those 3 pieces of your gear. Get the hit from your gear. Use dexterity stones. Obviously, like for these colorful ones, you know, you can only have one active at a time, or excuse me, you can only have one of one type active at a time. So just make sure you're not stacking these because they won't work. Make sure each single one you pick is different. As far as the blue ones, you want to go stamina because it gives you more HP than the HP ones, which is weird, but it's just the way it is. Yeah, and I think that about does it. Make sure you're also putting these colorful ones on the pieces that only take blue, because dexterity is really good, crit is really good. These blue ones are pretty mid for us. Like we're not going to be tanking bosses or anything like that. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. And I think that about does it. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I missed. We did that. We did this. Did all the things. I know a couple of people who are using assist. If you want to use assist, you can. It's definitely not optimal just because of the resets and stuff. But if you want to use battle assist, more power to you. But yeah, that'll do it. Appreciate you guys. And again, I'm not the PvE guy, but hopefully this will help you. And then ask the real PvE heroes in the Discord, and they'll be the ones to set you on the correct path. GG's.